Welcome to Lesson 04, the finale of our translation stage, where we finally tame the regex beast that lives at the heart of every Apache config. URL rewriting is the single most used Apache feature in the wild, and today we're mapping Moda Rewrite directly onto Nginx's own rewrite engine in 4 moves: anatomy, flag mapping, real-world patterns like WordPress and HTTPS force, and the edge cases where Nginx simply can't follow. After this, we stop translating and start coexisting. Before we touch syntax, let's anchor the why. Roughly 90% of every rewrite rule you'll ever read falls into 4 buckets. 1. Pretty URLs hiding a real handler, the WordPress and Laravel pattern that alone accounts for half of all rules in the wild. 2. Canonical enforcement, forcing www, HTTPS, or trailing slashes for SEO and cache sanity. 3. Legacy preservation, the 301 redirects that keep old links alive through a redesign. And 4. Conditional security blocking, your WAF light layer for bad bots and suspicious payloads. Categorize first, translate second. That's half the work already done. With the categories in mind, here's the unlock. Every rewrite rule, in either server, is just 4 parts in a row: directive, pattern, substitution, flags. Apache writes rewrite rule, create old /new $1, bracket R equals 301L. Nginx writes rewrite, the same regex with a leading slash, the same $1 capture, then the word permanent. Same anatomy, different idiom. Once you see the 4 slots, translation stops being parsing and becomes part-by-part substitution, pattern to pattern, flag to flag. So let's start with the heavyweight, Apache's mod rewrite. 2 directives carry the whole engine. RewriteCond sets preconditions, and you can stack them. RewriteRule fires the actual rewrite when every condition above it passes. Look at the 3 classics here. Rule 1 forces HTTPS by checking the HTTPS variable is off, then 301uns to the secure host. Rule 2 strips the www prefix case insensitively thanks to the NC flag. Rule 3 is the WordPress front controller pattern. If the request isn't a real file and isn't a real directory, route everything to indexed PHP. Memorize that flag table at the bottom. R, L, N, C, Q, S, A, F, G. Those 6 cover 90% of what you'll ever translate. Now flip the same problem into Nginx and notice how the idiom shifts entirely. There's no RewriteCond stack. Conditions live inside server and location blocks themselves, which is why we split HTTP and HTTPS into 2 separate server blocks. Rules 1 and 2 collapse into a single return 301 to the canonical host. That's faster than a rewrite because Nginx skips regex evaluation entirely, and the WordPress front controller pattern, it's not even a rewrite anymore. Try Files handles it natively. The flags you knew as L, R, and 301 become standalone words. Last, redirect, permanent. Same power, leaner grammar. That word swap deserves its own reference card, so here it is. Every flag you'll meet in the wild, mapped in both directions. The top 3 carry their weight in gold. L becomes last, R becomes redirect, and R301 becomes permanent. 5-star frequency, you'll type these daily. NC has no direct flag in Nginx. You express case insensitivity through the location modifier, ~. QSA disappears entirely because Nginx appends args for you, and F and G collapse into plain return 403 or return 410, no rewrite needed at all. Now to piece 4, the patterns themselves. These 4 show up in roughly 90% of every htaccess file you'll ever inherit. WordPress front controller routing, force HTTPS, www to non-www, and trailing /normalization. Read the right column carefully. Notice how Nginx collapses each one into a return 301 or a try files directive. No conditions, no flags, just intent. Memorize this column and you've effectively memorized production rewrite work. Which brings us to the deeper why, because Nginx technically has a rewrite directive, so why does the community push you away from it? 3 reasons. First, return is single pass while rewrite forces Nginx to restart location matching from scratch, 5 to 10 times faster for redirects. Second, try files was purpose-built for the file exists, else route to index.php pattern, collapsing 3 Apache lines into 1. And third, location ordering and specificity replace the L flag entirely. Pick the right location block and there's nothing left to stop. Different idiom, same outcome, less code. So here's your translation table, the one to screenshot. Read it use case first. When you see RewriteCond HTTPS off plus a rule, that's force HTTPS. And the Nginx answer is always return 301 to HTTPS with host and request URI. The -F, -D pattern, that's WordPress and try files collapses it. The F flag means forbid, return 403. Once you're recognizing intent instead of parsing syntax, you're translating at senior speed. Recognition is one thing, reflex is another. So here are 3 drills to bake it in. First, 20 minutes on the WordPress htaccess. Translate it cold, validate with nginx, curl a pretty URL, and confirm it hits index.php internally. Then 30 minutes converting force HTTPS plus canonical the idiomatic way. 3 server blocks, not one with a stack of ifs. Finally, refactor an existing Nginx config. Every rewrite permanent becomes return 301, and benchmark it. Most teams see 5 to 15% throughput back just from dropping the regex engine. Drills build reflex, but knowing the traps keeps you out of the ditch. 5 mistakes, all real, all from production. Using if for everything, when Nginx if is famously evil, forgetting the leading slash so your pattern silently never matches, mixing rewrite and return in the same block where order suddenly decides behavior, manually appending the query string when Nginx already passes args, doubling it, and writing rewrite inside a location without remembering the URI is relative to that prefix. Everyone passes Nginx. Everyone breaks at runtime. And that closes the translation stage. 4 lessons in: the mental model, the VOS table, the htaccess triage, and now rewrites. You can read a rewrite rule and write its Nginx twin without flinching. Lesson 05 changes the game entirely. We stop translating and start coexisting. Apache at the edge, Nginx in the cluster, TLS termination, X forwarded headers, and the bridge that ties them together. See you there.